There are still places to go, people to see, and adventures ahead. Azure Well creates vitamins and supplements focused on purity, potency, and consistency for people who want to make the most of every season of life. Every formula is lab tested and designed for everyday wellness. If quality matters to you, compare what's in your cabinet to Azure Well. Visit AzureLivingWell.com. That's AZURE livingwell.com. These products have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Welcome to Lifestyle Solopreneur, the community for entrepreneurs who put lifestyle first. Join your host Flavia Barris as she interviews successful lifestyle solopreneurs and shares ideas to help you find the perfect balance between lifestyle, business, and self. Flavia is an attorney, marketing expert, and founder of several online academies. She's been featured in major media including BBC World News, The Wall Street Journal, The New York Post, ESPN Television, and more. Join us for this episode of Lifestyle Solopreneur.
Hey, Lifestyle Solopreneurs. Today we get to meet with Joel Kraut. He is a real estate finance professional with 30 years of experience helping investors turn ideas into tangible properties and long-term wealth. As a direct private lender and nationwide commercial mortgage consultant, he works closely with both first-time as well as seasoned investors in fix and flip, new construction, DR loans and transactions, and also small balance commercial projects, providing access to a wide range of capital solutions across the United States. What truly distinguishes Joel is the path he has personally walked. Having been an owner, consultant, developer, and builder himself, he understands the uncertainty, calculated risk, and excitement that comes with starting or scaling a real estate journey. He is known for breaking down complex financing and approval processes into clear, practical steps so investors can make confident decisions. Welcome to the show, Joel.
Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you, Flavia.
Yes, I am excited to have you because I love real estate. I'm actually a real estate junkie myself. So I'd love to know how you got started in real estate and how you got to where you are today.
So for me, it was really simple. Just with the books that are behind you, I used to commute to work back in the 90s and I would read all the time. And there was this common theme. I read really boring stuff. I read a lot of autobiographies of really well-to-do, famous families, rich families, because I wasn't one of them. And I wanted to begin to learn what it would be that might separate them. And could I do that? And as I kept reading about all these people from all these different industries and walks of life in different countries and cultures, the common theme seemed to be real estate. They always, no matter how wealthy they were, they seemed to own some real estate, maybe different types, but that was this common denominator. And I started to think, if you want to be like Mike, you got to do what Mike does, right? So I had an opportunity from the woman who sold me my house when I moved from New York to New Jersey back in the early 1990s. Around 1996, she came to me with a deal that had clearly fallen apart on her, and she needed to close fast. She knew what I did. She knew I might have the ability to do that. And she said, "Hey, I'll take care of everything for you." And she told the truth. She really did. I basically just put up money, and next thing I knew, I owned this property and was collecting rent. It was really that simple. So it was a great first step, a little misleading because it seemed easier than it really was in real life. But along the way from there, we learned a lot. So that's really how I got started.
That's not where you stopped. Clearly.
Yes. No.
You've taken it, I'd say, well beyond the goalpost. You're in another sort of universe by now in the world of real estate from that one property that you started with. So how did that path take you from the one property to what you do now?
So I was a trader on Wall Street. I was a proprietary trader. For those of you that have seen the movie The Big Short, those types of derivative products are what we help create and trade all day. So we didn't really have any customers. We were proprietary. So I didn't trade for anyone else. We traded for our own account. So our risk tolerance and normal risk parameters compared to normal people were very different. And remember, I'm talking about the late 80s into the 90s, and technology is very different then. So as an individual, small company of a few people trading, you could compete at a very large level that you can't do anymore. That acceptance and understanding of risk enabled me to access a lot of people that were right around me on the floors of the exchanges who had a lot of money, kind of knew what real estate was, but had no time or interest, such they would put up money towards the deals. I would put in 10% of the purchase price and they'd put up all the rest, and they would get a rate of return on their money. So I didn't realize it was called hard money lending or private lending. It was my friends giving me money and allowing me to go crazy in the real estate market, to be honest. So we did that and grew a portfolio of 144 properties in 40 months. And basically, we'd do the refinances. And if we could do them in bulk in portfolio, we could take all of our money back out and have no money in the deals and literally have over 100% leverage. It was, in today's world, that's really Instagram-ish. Back then, I thought it was cool, but no one was really talking about it. There was no groups to even discuss it with. I just figured out how to do it quickly because that's what we did on Wall Street all day. It worked phenomenally well until things really hit the skids in '07 into '08, and then it exploded spectacularly. It sounds really cool to have over 100% leverage. None of your own money is in these deals, but it also leaves you absolutely zero room for margin of error. And the error not only is I need a new roof, new hot water heater, it could be your tenants aren't paying. And unfortunately, for a lot of us, even today, you see it, people invest too thinly. And thus, as soon as they hit any kind of speed bump, they have a problem. So we're trying to spend a lot of our time from our own mistakes and frustrations and physical financial losses to help people understand that better and be more aware of it. I took one of my own mentees this morning. He just raised his offer $30,000 on a property. And I said to Tim, I said, I think this is getting too thin. I think you need to be careful here. And he showed me his profitability evaluation tool. And I said, look, you're down to 5%. You can't go into the deal that way. So he agreed and he backed off. And we want to help people understand that and try to make better decisions from our own mistakes. So that's what I spend a lot of my time doing in today's world.
And what types of real estate are your top favorites? Because that's the beauty of real estate. There's people that trade water rights or mineral rights. That's a type of
Sure.
real estate. There's people that build things. There's people that just buy already built out properties and rent them out. Some people love apartment buildings. Others love single family homes. What is your fave?
I clearly started with single family homes. I grew up in apartment 13H, and from my own personal experience and other people around, no one ever goes to sleep dreaming of living in apartment 13H. Everyone still comes to America or is born here, and that's the dream, right? To own your own home, your own four walls, your peace, your tranquility. So I think for anybody, that's still a viable instrument. As we've grown over time, we've purchased some small mixed use buildings, multifamily. We recently bought a 15-unit building. So we're trying to strategically pick off those mid-size where the competition is lower. You and I talked off camera for a few, and you mentioned the word syndication. So I'm trying to hunt just a little bit under where those people are hunting. I don't really want to go compete with people trying to buy 100-unit apartment buildings. It sounds cool. You can build huge portfolios, but what do you really own? I don't really like that. And at this stage in my career, having a little more influence in how the project goes, I'm interested in working with my team. My team needs to be able to handle a mid-sized deal, but that team's not set up to handle 100 units at once. We're conscious of that, but I feel like that presents great opportunities for people across America. The competition is a little lower. There's definitely competition, but it's not the same as all the people slugging it out with all types of institutional dollars going for these gigantic opportunities.
The thing that's great about real estate is that it's very location based. It's regional. The different markets, whatever's going on in one town could be very different with real estate than 10 miles down the road. So do you have favorite areas of the country that you like to invest in, or do you like to stay very diversified and spread yourself among different markets?
I would recommend to anybody starting out that they draw a circle of, let's say, 90 minutes around their house, and there'll be towns there that they've never really encountered that might work inside of their financial model box, right? And being able to go touch it in the beginning, especially, is really important. As you begin to invest away, which we do, I think a lot of people make the mistake of looking at the real estate first instead of can they really build a team that can support that and make sure that's in place before they execute. And to me, that's the single most important driver of success. You could have a lot of money, you could even have time, but if you don't have the people that can help you execute, you're going to be out of money and time. And I know what that feels like. I don't want to repeat it. So I spend most of my time figuring out where that is. At Burr Loans, we have the opportunity to see what investors are doing around the country. So I may call you up and say, I watched what you're doing on the last two, three flips and how you bought that property and then stabilized it. I think it's awesome. You're really great to work with. Have you ever considered just doing more deals in the year? Joel, sometimes I don't like to get too far ahead of myself financially. I can't find any more deals. And people can sense and feel like you're seeing if they're willing to be a partner. And some will say, I don't want to have any partners, but others will say, could you flesh that? What would it look like? And we'll bring all the money to the deal. And now we have boots on the ground somewhere. So we've been in Milwaukee, Mobile, Alabama, Huntsville down to Mobile. We like Alabama a lot. The East Coast of Florida, Philadelphia, New York, New Jersey. So we've been in a few different areas around the country. We like it, Ohio. And we basically watched what our own clients did and then followed their lead. So we didn't go in unexplored. And we certainly made sure the first thing we did was find the people that we really believed in. And that was who we partnered with.
And you said people should first come up with their financial plan or their financial projection or budget. I think you called it, was it a financial box that you're
Yes.
looking in? So tell us a little bit about that. What are the first steps someone would take to come up with those financials and numbers? Is it by following certain blogs? I know you mentor certain people. I know you can't mentor every single person who's interested in doing this, but what are some resources for people that want to jump in or at least get their toes wet?
I feel like people start often in the wrong spot. I'm a really simple guy. My haircut shows you that, right? I think a lot of people to start out should just think about, like, what is my freedom number? What does that math really look like? Because it's exciting to go buy a 100-unit building, but maybe you don't need to. Maybe if you bought 10 single family homes over the next 7 years, not even 1 year, and you started to amortize those off while you still maintained your good paying W-2 that had great benefits and added to your pension each year. And then you look down in 20 years as you amortized off those properties and each one's worth, let's say $200,000, $300,000, you have a few $1,000,000 that's free cash flowing. Does that work for what your goals are? Like, you need to figure out what your goals are up front before you go run around amok. And I think too many people never really start there. Often you'll ask people, like, what's your single most important financial goal for the next 365 days? And they struggle to answer. Well, how can you get there if you don't really understand where you're trying to go? I know that sounds maybe cliche or silly, but I like to get people to start there. We can talk about real estate, but it's not really about real estate. It's about you. What do you really want? What feels good to you? What do you like to do? I could walk you through maybe 15 different strategies of investing in real estate, but many of them aren't going to feel tasteful to you. You're not going to want to do it. It's not who you are. A lot of people don't want to go knock on doors, right? They don't want to make 50 lead calls a day to get to 5 potential phone calls. And I get that. So why don't we figure out strategies that make sense for who you are personality wise and match that up so you can feel good going to do it? And then let's build a math model around that and see what markets fit that math model. So you don't get all frustrated because, oh, I can never find that. Yeah, I live in central New Jersey. I can't find a lot of what I like. That's true. But it doesn't mean America doesn't have it, right? America is a huge country. There's great opportunities everywhere. So sometimes you have to do a little more work. You're telling me you want to be free. You're telling me you want this, you want that, you want. What are you really willing to do? Let's spend a couple of hours for the first few weeks going through that and really nailing it down. Then we could get at it. But again, if we don't know where we want to go, what are we going to just start throwing darts around for? Like, you're just going to lose money. And we don't want people to do that. So that's how I start people off. It is how I start them off.
It sounds like a great foundation as that first thing to think about. Real estate has a little bit of a chicken and egg problem where a lot of people who have never been involved in real estate investing, they think you have to build wealth first to begin investing in real estate. And there's others that build the wealth by investing in real estate. Which comes first? How much does someone need to have in assets or liquidity before they can dive into the world of real estate?
They need to have zero. They need to get the concept of the noise in between their ears and their own head out of their head. It doesn't matter if it's real estate or anything else you want to do. Until you believe in yourself, nothing's going to happen. And unfortunately, most people say they do, but they don't really. They're not comfortable with themselves. They're still in chaos and they need to get that calmed down. In real estate investing, you need to have two of three things. The three things in my mind are you have to show people you're willing to show up and work hard all the time. You have to learn how to source deals, and you either need to have or know where to find money. If you can put two of those three things together, the third will always fall into place. America, where I live, I can't speak about the rest of the world because I'm only here. We are only number one in one thing and one thing only left, to the best of my knowledge, and that is greed. Money wants to make money. So if you can bring an intelligent proposal to people and show them how you're going to execute and show them you're trustworthy to do that, you don't need to have an 800 credit score. You don't need to have 50 or 80 or $100,000 in the bank. You can have zero. And if you have bad credit and they ask you directly, you're going to tell them the truth and you're going to show them what you're doing to work on it so that you're a proactive person that had some problems in the past, but you have matured and now you're moving forward positively. If you can show people that on a consistent basis, they will put trust in you. I've done a lot of deals in the last 2 years in particular after being quiet for a while, and I've yet to be asked my credit score. No one's run a background search on me, and no one's ever asked me for a bank statement. And they've put up millions of dollars to let me go buy properties. Now, I'm doing it for a long time, that's true, but I went into serious problems. I lost $4.2 million in a very short period of time during the crash in '08. It's on the internet, so it's no place to hide, and I don't try to hide it. It was embarrassing. It was all the things you could think of, but it didn't kill me. So to young people out there at the game, doesn't matter what age you are, but you're young at the game, don't wait till you have perfect credit. Don't wait till you have all the money you need. Find people who can bring you the resources that you need. And if you can partner with them and make 30 to 50% of the deal, and you do two or three like that, you'll then have the other pieces you need for yourself if you only want to work by yourself. But as I said to one of my partners this morning, I said, the one thing when I get frustrated with you is the one thing I like a lot is you understand the value of the partnerships and how much further it can take you than being an island by yourself. And from that, you'll grow fantastically over time. A lot of people, they don't want to do that. That's fine. I respect that. That's your decision. But for me, that's an important aspect because we have busy lives. We're doing different things. But 30 years in, I'm a devout junkie, so I still like to do it. I actually enjoy it, as insane as that is. But so I need to partner with people and I need to understand what I can bring to that equation and do well with that and let them do what they're supposed to as well. So again, I believe the people are equal or more important than the physical real estate. And a lot of people miss that. Relationship capital is gigantic in all parts of your life, and people don't put enough value in it, and it hurts them.
Amazing words. And I think that will speak deep to a lot of people listening, especially anyone that's having doubts or struggling or feeling lack of confidence. It's why you mentor people, because you have the experience, you've lived it, you've seen people live it, you've helped others through that struggle and the learning curve. And it's great that you're out there doing what you do. I have to comment on your website URL because it is, for anyone that's actively involved in real estate, it's very easy to memorize and to remember. But for anyone that doesn't really work in the world of real estate at all, it may not make sense when you first hear it. But it is .com. Again, anyone listening who's in the world of real estate is saying, oh, that's amazing. I know exactly what that means. But tell us a little bit about the BRRR method.
So I didn't realize I got indoctrinated to the BRRRR method: buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and then repeat back in 1997. I bought my first property in 96, a very basic condominium unit with a rental tenant we got in. I did some really difficult renovations to it. We painted it. We changed the mailbox, the exterior front light. I think we did change a toilet, and I paid a ridiculous amount to get that done for back then. A year later, a young lady comes to me and says, Mr. Kraut, my name's Maria. I think we could refinance your condo and you can get all of your money back out. Now I'm working on Wall Street as a trader. I'm thinking to myself, that must be illegal because it sounds way too easy. It can't be right. So I called up the realtor friend and I said, Mindy, please don't laugh at me. I just have to ask you this question. Of course, Mindy starts laughing at me any minute. It's not illegal to refinance the property. So I'm like, wait a minute. You're telling me that a bank at 12 months and a day will give me all of my money back out. And if the property is valued high enough, even give me a check on top of that, and I still own it and I still collect the rents. So needless to say, Maria opened my eyes and we went on and did 22 more transactions together in the next 2, 3 years. So I thought she was one of the smartest residential mortgage reps I'd ever met because what she did was so different than the norm. The norm is you approach Flavia, you approach Joel, and every 5 or 7 years we buy a primary residence from you. But what Maria did is she went to the recorded mortgages, which I didn't even realize they were at the time. I was astounded that she knew what was going on. And she would see if you or I had more than one mortgage recorded in our names. She would approach us to ask and figure out which one was the rental property and would we be interested in refinancing it as it got towards month 12 of ownership. Because back then, banks made you wait to 12 months and a day to refinance at full market value. So even if I bought it as an advantage entry, until I got to 12 months, I couldn't take advantage of that. But at 12 months, I could let it fly. And that's what we did. I couldn't believe banks were crazy enough to do that. And it was amazing. I ended up owning 10, 11 townhomes, maybe 12 townhomes with no money in them and cash flow and equity. Even with the refis, there was still equity. It was crazy. And it was a time in New Jersey when they were just starting to build single family McMansions, the full brick fronts, 2-car garages, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and they were selling them in the mid to high 200,000s. So all these townhomes for 100 grand became really unsexy and fell out of favor. So I just started to buy those because they would cash flow. People would pay $1,400 a month in rent, and it made sense. And that's with rates at 8 and 7/8. My first investment mortgage was at 8 and 7/8. And I think I made 14 or 16% cash on cash return, which is all I cared about. I didn't dream that rates would go to 4% one day. I didn't spend any time on stuff like that. And I hate when investors do because it shows short-sighted. You can't dictate when that will happen. So why are you going to wait for it? Why not go find what works, make money, and if rates go down, make more money with a refi? So I don't like to see people wait and just 2, 3 years ago, Joel, I could have got a 3 3/4 rate. Okay. Now you're 32 years old. Are you going to wait till you're 50 for that to set up again? Or are you going to start blending it over time in your portfolio and keep making money and making a future and building something for your kids? Like all the things you keep telling me you want to do. Why would you wait?
You've got a book. So you've taken what's up here in your head and you've put it between, and I'm a book lover. So tell us a little bit about the inspiration to write the book, that process. We have a lot of aspiring authors listening, and just what the book is about so people can go check it out.
So my book is called The 7 Steps to Financial Freedom. Pretty typical, right? But I got really frustrated being on the road for a lot of years, right? I've been out there for 30 years, celebrating my 30th year now. And a lot of times I'd get a chance to speak, and maybe I was fourth to go for the day on the agenda. I'd listen to other people. And truthfully, a lot of people out there are really good marketers, much better than me, much better. Except they're not really good at answering questions because they don't really do it that much. And I found that really frustrating when they would sell their wares for 15 grand a shot to some unsuspecting person in the audience who felt like they were looking to buy the golden ticket, and yet they were buying a bag of dreams. So I decided that I would finally sit down and give people some of my experience at a really low cost, and it would be really honest. And it talks about my mistakes. It talks about how valuable certain people are to me in my life, how it helped me pull me back together out of chaos, and what that was like, that journey. Because the truth is, so many people across America are in chaos and need help just getting to stability. And they need a place where they can feel safe that it's okay to discuss it and think about it and work through it. And that's what I felt like was really important to me to do. So we spend very little time on the really esoteric strategies in the back of the book. And we spend a lot more time on just talking about being a real person and how that can relate to the beginning stages of getting yourself under control and then moving into investment. I think that's really important. And I feel very fortunate to have had the opportunity to make a big comeback because I didn't know the markets would stabilize and go up for 12, 14 years. So it wasn't a given to me. And I feel very fortunate from that. So I want to share with people and help them because if you really think about it, you travel, you meet people, you talk to people on the podcast, and just think about like how many people in the country have built lives they're literally trying to survive every day versus lives they really love. I want to help people break out of that and find some enjoyment in what they're doing. I'm not saying become unbelievably happy and giddy all day, but start to look forward to the day. I hate the expression, I hate Mondays. Why do you hate Mondays? You hate Mondays because you don't like what you're doing. To me, it's one big day, all seven. It's very different. People will say, oh, you work too much. I love what I'm doing because I took the time to figure out what it is I really wanted to do. At the time when things fell apart for me, why my wife at the time begged me to go get a job. And I thought about it because I was nervous and scared. We were out of money completely. And I just thought, I'm going to go do something I hate. They're going to pay me at the time, I don't know, 120 grand a year, and we'll be broke because I had 7 kids, 5 natural kids and two stepdaughters. And I can't do that. And again, there was no guarantee I could make a comeback in what I was doing, but I felt like this is what I love to do and I'm pretty good. But the world just went kaflooey on me. I didn't do something stupid all at once, although I definitely levered up too much. No, that's true. But the concepts were real. They've been around since the beginning of the Bible, right? People, no matter what Bible you've ever been touched by or believe in or read. So I'm not trying to poke fun or disrespect anything, but think about it. In all those verses and versions, someone is paid in some manner for a place to live, a shelter. It's not a new concept. Google, Amazon, Apple, they haven't destroyed that yet. Until they do, I'm a believer. I was a young guy. We watched the Jetsons. They took a pill, they vanished overnight and came back to go to work the next morning. Could happen, but for right now, no one has shown me that yet. So I still believe in this. One of my friends owns 2,000 single family houses. He's worth, I don't know, 40, 50 million bucks. It's real. This is not make believe. And you don't have to go to Harvard. You don't need 120 IQ. You don't even need a GED. No one cares if English is your first language. Nobody cares. This is an amazing, this is like professional adult bowling. Everyone can do it, right? There's no restriction that says, Flavia, I'm sorry. You have the intelligence. You speak beautifully. You're great to partner with. You're really smart. No, we don't want you in the real estate market. Nobody says that, right? That's what's awesome about it. I meet people from every kind of walk of life that are doing this, and it's awesome to be around. It's really cool. To me, why not? Why wouldn't you?
You don't need to draft a resume. You don't need to ever put together a resume when
No.
you are a principal, as we call the investors in the
Yeah.
world of real estate, which is it's unique. And
But
it's like you said, when you start peeling back what some very wealthy, successful people have built, oftentimes, I would say the majority of the time, you peel it back and you see there's a real estate portfolio.
there's something there. It might not be the only thing. That's true. Absolutely. I don't want to mislead anybody. But there's a piece of it because they've lived in a house. They know that feeling. There's a contentment with the asset and they believe in it. Not an esoteric cryptocurrency that they don't understand. It's not a piece of art that maybe if you don't understand what artist is trending, you get it wrong. It's not wine. It's not oil and gas. It's something they physically can understand and are comfortable with. Their kids were in bedrooms. They painted the walls. They put up posters. I don't want to overemphasize it, but it's just true. People understand that and are much more comfortable with it. You have to always be learning and you need to be open minded to other things too. But to your point, at the core, for even these well to do people who have high access to everything, they still revert back as part of their portfolio to sticks and bricks. And there's got to be a reason. It's been working for hundreds and hundreds of years. Like, why reinvent the wheel? It should be part of what you're doing. I'm not saying it should be all of it, but it should be part.
Joel, how do people follow you, get in touch with you, see more of what you're doing, get your book, all of the different ways that people can learn more about your world, be in your orbit, and where can they find all these things?
The easiest place is just right through the website. You go to burr.com. So B with four R's.com. And we really answer. We don't have the iBots there. We will eventually, like the rest of the world, but for now, I hate that. So we don't. We like to talk to people. And I'll just set up a time to talk with you. I talk to people all the time at night during the week and or on the weekend driving in a car. It's easy to have an hour conversation with somebody and just see where they are in their journey. Some people have hit me up after reading my book. They went on Amazon and bought it. You can buy it for $9.99. We try to keep it simple. The audiobook is 99 cents. Again, I wanted to make anything that I could help people with and share with very accessible. To me, that was very important. And this is really who I am. I have two of my kids who work here and help us run the company. The people who work in our company are basically have been around me since they're young and little. It's a really important aspect of who we are. So we feel very fortunate, even with the ups and downs, that we've had this opportunity to literally meet thousands and thousands of people across America and have a little bit of influence in their journey, right? It's pretty cool when somebody calls you back, yeah, I just sold two more, I bought four, and now I own 19 doors, or now I own 31 doors, or now I own four, or now I own my first. That's a cool feeling to have a little part in that. I just helped one of my guys. He literally bought his first deal. He'd lost out on a deal where he got the contract, they accepted his offer, and then somebody bid 100 grand higher. He was going to have a mental breakdown. His wife walked him back in off the ledge, which was great. Having a partner like that is really instrumental in your success long term. And now I'm really excited. He landed his first deal. He's closing tomorrow. And the second one, we're doing the appraisal now on too. It came right in because I feel like a lot of people get discouraged. They go through 50 deals before something happens. Whoa, what's the matter with me? There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing. You're going to look at 100 and do three. I can't tell you if that's the first three, the mid three, or the last three, but that's what's going to be. You're going to do 3% of the deals, 2.75% of the deals. I can tell you that after doing thousands. It's just real. My friend who owns 2,000 houses has been told no 70,000 plus times over 4 decades. He still has hair, which is amazing. He's much better at it than me, right? But you think about that. Think about what it takes to be able to hear the word no, not now, that number of times and just keep coming. That's what it takes in life to be successful. I didn't stop and say where he went to college, or even if he had a college degree, or what language he spoke, or how much money he had when he started. He's just crazy enough to keep showing up, keep talking to people. But again, if you can get into that mindset, you can go achieve what you want. Yeah, I know. I'm not going to be Michael Jordan. I can't dunk. I can't do, I know that. But there's a lot of things I can do if I can find what I'm really interested in and then go all in on it and max out. I can get there, not in a week, not in a month, but over 36 months, or else you're going to spend 40 years making someone else's dream come true. Who wants, like, do you really want to do that? Seriously. I don't think anybody really does. But they won't even invest in themselves for 3 years. I'm not talking about forever. You could change your life from the years 45 through 48, 63 through. One of our business friends who's becoming a friend, Chuck, down in the mid-Atlantic states, at 70 years old, he started the journey. Now he's literally traveling the world doing amazing things, donating to charities and participating in that, and has enough money to live his life on his own terms. He started at 70. He was a broke guy, school teacher, wife divorced him late in life. The whole story was miserable. But instead of just woe is me, he sucked it up, figured out what he wanted to do, and then met some people of like-minded nature and pushed himself. It's there for people. They need to find communities where they can feel safe and good and then press it. We can't wait for the government to do that. We have to do that individually, interpersonally. But it's there to be had, and there's a lot of good people out there. A lot.
Joel, you clearly care so much about people, not just your mentees, but just I can sense how you feel about everybody and just wanting everybody to get
I just
ahead.
feel like it's really important.
Find them.
It's really important. People matter.
Thank you for being not only on the show today, but for writing your book,
Thank you.
for mentoring so many, you're a housing provider. You've provided people with safe places to live and have their own dreams. You've got the full gamut. And again, I'm very grateful for you being on the show today to share your point of view, your journey and experience and expertise with all of us. And it's really been a privilege. Thank you, Joel.
I really appreciate the opportunity to be on with you. Thank you. I think these opportunities are really important for all of us because it gives us a chance to show a window of opportunity for other people. And you just never know who you're going to touch. And that's the awesome part of it all, to be honest.
Thank you, Joel.
Thank you.
Guess what, lifestyle solopreneurs? If you don't yet have an online business earning you enough passive income to live the life of your dreams, I'd like to suggest you consider trying out Kajabi. Kajabi is an all-in-one solution where you can create and teach online courses, publish a paid newsletter, launch a free or paid podcast, process payments, build one-on-one coaching portals for your clients, and much, much more. I personally use Kajabi to power numerous successful and profitable online businesses. Lifestyle solopreneurs, there's a free trial of Kajabi waiting for you at this link, www.kfreetrial.com. You can try Kajabi for free, no obligation, by going to www.kfreetrial.com. Again, kfreetrial.com, and that K stands for Kajabi. Starting an online business helped me break free from that corporate grind, and I hope it does the same for you. You have nothing to lose and absolutely everything to gain. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Don't forget to subscribe to the show, and see you next time.